We all say thank you pretty much every day, right? But what if I told you that simple act is expressed in dramatically different ways all over the world? Let's dive in and see how. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone did you a favor, but instead of hearing thanks, you heard sorry? Yeah, it sounds a little weird, right? But believe me, there's a fascinating cultural reason behind it.
And that's because, well, gratitude isn't this universal thing we might think it is. It's better to think of it as a cultural language with its own set of rules and quirks that can change completely depending on where you are in the world.
All right, so to really get our heads around this, let's take a trip to Japan. We're going to explore a concept that might feel, a little backward to many of us, the art of indirect gratitude.
Okay, so take the Japanese word sumimasen. Literally, it means something like, I am sorry, or even, this isn't finished. But in so many everyday situations, it's actually used as a really heartfelt thank you. It's like an apology that's also doing the job of showing appreciation. So why does this happen? Well, it all comes down to a core value, humility. See, saying sumimasen isn't about admitting you did something wrong. It's really a way to acknowledge the effort, the trouble that someone else went through for you. So if someone picks up something you dropped, saying sorry is your way of saying, wow, thank you for going out of your way and taking that trouble for me. It's this beautiful space where apology and appreciation just blur together.
Okay, so now let's do a complete 180. We're going to jump over to a really different style, one that's super common in English-speaking cultures, the power of being direct.
And here, the script is totally flipped. The expectation is that gratitude should be direct, it should be clear, and you should say it with confidence. The message needs to come through loud and clear. I value what you did for me. There's just no room for guessing.
And the building blocks for this direct style are actually pretty simple, but they're incredibly powerful. A simple, straightforward thank you actually counts for a lot. But here's the real key. You've got to make eye contact. That's what sells the sincerity. And in this context, being confident doesn't come off as arrogant. It's actually seen as being polite. Just think about a busy coffee shop, right? A quick, direct thanks while you make eye contact with the barista feels so much more real than if you kind of mumble it.
All right, so we've got these two totally different ways of doing things, right? On one hand, you have this indirect, humble apology, and on the other, a direct, confident thank you. So what happens when these two communication styles clash? So if you break it down, the Japanese approach is all about focusing on the effort of the person who helped, and the big value there is humility. Meanwhile, the English-speaking approach, it's all about the positive outcome, and the values are clarity and confidence. It really is the difference between saying sorry for the trouble versus thank you for the help. And man, this is exactly where the misunderstandings can start to creep in.
Imagine you're an English speaker and someone says sorry after helping you. You'd probably be a little confused, right? You might be thinking, wait, I was happy to help. Why are you apologizing? It almost feels like you're pushing me away, or even worse, making me feel guilty for doing something nice.
But now, let's flip that around. For a Japanese speaker, hearing just a direct thanks can sometimes feel, well, a little empty. It might seem like it's missing the full weight of consideration for the effort they put in. Even if you don't mean it that way at all, it can come across as kind of abrupt, maybe even a little dismissive.
Okay, so it's clear things can get lost in translation here. What's the solution? How do we actually navigate these different cultural languages of gratitude and, bridge that gap?
The first thing to get is that there's no right or wrong way to say thank you. It's not about that at all. Both styles are totally valid in their own cultural bubble. The real skill, the secret sauce, is conscious adaptation, learning to tweak your style to fit the situation you're in.
So for anyone navigating an English-speaking environment, here's a super practical 3-step guide. Step 1. Just be aware that these nuances exist. That's half the battle. Step 2. Make a conscious choice to use a direct thank you instead of an apology. And step 3, and this one is probably the most important, pair that thank you with confident eye contact. That's what really seals the deal and shows you're sincere. You see, when you swap that apology for a confident thank you, the gratitude you're feeling is just understood so much more clearly. It's a tiny little tweak, but it can completely transform your interactions. It helps you avoid those awkward misunderstandings and build much stronger, more genuine connections with people.
And that really brings us to a final, bigger thought. I mean, if something we think of as totally universal, like gratitude, is actually guided by these deep, invisible cultural rules, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unspoken rules, these cultural scripts, are quietly shaping how you interact with the world every single day?